I'm Mick Poultney from Colligate, quaint little village near Alzoin in the West Mids. We're now going to cover green composting, which is your green kitchen waste and your waste out your garden. My mixture is what I've got. Once my compost is mixed up, I get mixed with these. Basically, the smaller you can get the ingredients and the more you can mix that ingredients with everything else, all the different ingredients, the better breakdown process is going to be quickened, less work for the worms, and you keep it moist at the end and you get a good brew out of it. But this is how I start off. Right, kitchen waste and garden waste, any green waste. Obviously I'm going to say what I get from out of our kitchen. Eggshells, that's your lime content when you smash them up. Peppers, sprouts, tater peelings, carrot tops. Green waste as well off the garden, allotment, whatever you've got. Rhubarb leaves, people say you can't put rhubarb leaves on, they're poisonous. You're not eating them, you're chopping them up, get them on there. So that's your garden waste and your kitchen waste. So this lot, we'll bung in there. If we get the smaller we can get this, the better. Just chop them up. This is the hardest I work on the allotment. I don't dig anymore. All you're doing is open the worms out with the breakdown process. Right, we've chopped our compost ingredients up. What I usually start, get an empty compost bag, 75 litre, nice big one. 2 handfuls of green compost. They go in, and my first ingredients that covers that is spent mushroom compost. If we move along, next one, this is raw rotted osmuck. Next one along, spent hops, excellent. Good activator for the compost heap. Next one, which a lot of people miss out of their heaps, topsoil. You've got to have topsoil in. That's where your bacteria and fungi are. If you get hold of molehills, that's the best topsoil you can get. One of the best loams you can get. Next one, this is fresh osmuck. That's what I got yesterday. This is spent peat. Next one here, this is from Paradise, which we're going to have a look at later on. This is about 7-8 year old osmuck. There's a good handful in there. Next one, this is sedge peat. Some of it flog down the shed, but I found that to be a good one to keep the pH neutral. Next one, pet droppings. If somebody's got a hamster, guinea pig, rabbit or whatever, that's ideal as well. If you've got straw in, don't matter, that's going to break down because that would have been soaking up at the urine, and that's what you want. This one here is your grass cuttings, which is full of nitrogen, plus as it is now autumn, the leaves have started dropping off the trees. And if you go over with a mower, it chops everything up and mixes it, so that's ideal. Your leaves and your grass cuttings. Next one here is my leaf mould. We'll go through that one later on, but this is ready in 3 months with my methods now. This is a new one, I've introduced this here, seaweed. Obviously it's gone through my shredder after it's been dried off, but that's a good brew. Anything that's seaweed based, good stuff. Next one, which goes in, this is egg boxes, ripped up cardboard, mixed with spent tea. You don't use the bags, that now never break down or nothing. But this is your carbon content, this is your brown compost, beautiful stuff. You've got to have this in, your carbon. You've got to have your eggshells for your lime. That keeps it nice and neutral. Another one I've added this year, this is worm casts, and it is beautiful stuff. What we do then once I have finished, just screw the end up, and this is how I mix it. 3 or 4 of them, and you're mixing everything up. The smaller you can get the ingredients, which I mentioned, which you've already done, and the more you can mix them, all you're doing is helping the worms out to do their job. Look at that, beautiful. It ain't even gone in the bin yet, I'm halfway there. Excellent brew. Then you've got to go through a shredder. And going through twice, that's how it comes out. Excellent stuff. Use your urine. Only blokes, women's ain't no good. Impurities in it. Don't ask me why. I've read it somewhere. Chinese have been using number 1s and number 2s for centuries. But if I can reach, I shall piddle on the compost heap. If I can't, then the rhubarb gets it. But that's a good mixture, full of nitrogen. We've just mixed all our ingredients. That's what we're going to do now, is add it to the bin. Lid comes off. Plus something else I found with the bins, especially with the mock-up, the osmuck heap up top, it's covered in carpet. As it breaks down, it drops. The carpet drops down with it, that's your lid. That's what keeps the moisture and the warmth in there. Exactly the same with these. When this is full and it starts breaking down, that's going to drop. I'll put a carpet, obviously round, and as that drops, this drops with it. And you haven't got that vacuum with it. Just something else that helps the worms out. Right, we've got a load in there, it's about half full. What I'm going to do is put about half of this in, which gives you about 3 or 4 inch layer. I'll spread that out evenly. Next thing that goes in is your shredded paper. You spread that out, you don't want a big dollop, so you give it in one soggy mess. Activator, fishful, that's all you need. There's quite a few ingredients, they've already got nitrogen in there anyway. Watering, liquid gold, which we'll cover later on. Basically it's just osmuck, the drainings, plus my urine. We'll put a good dollop of air in. Obviously you've got to keep everything moist. If it dries out, the worms are going to clear off. If it gets cold, the worms are going to clear off. You'll look after them, keep it moist and warm. The worms will stay there, do the job they're supposed to do. Still got some left, so we start off again. Put the last pot in. A bin I can usually fill up with the produce I get within a month. We go through it that way. I mean, somebody might take them 6 months to fill one of these up. These are the large bins, the 330 litre, you can get the 220. Right, we've done a good soak in. Now what we're going to do, the last thing, is put the carpet on. We've run out of mixture to put in there. Carpet goes back on the top, keeps it nice and moist and warm till the next sesh. Right, we've just filled the bin up. He's chocker now to the top. Something else to quicken the process down, what I do. You go to a fishing tackle shop, they get some worms, what the fishermen use. These are denrobaena worms. A good dollop. Look at them, beautiful. Nice big amount in there. This is going to quicken the process down. You're going to get your worms in there anyway, but this is going to quicken the process down even more. If you look after these, meaning they got the warmth, the moisture and the feed in there because you put it in there, then these will multiply like hell, and that is what you want. And every time you fill up, then they're going to work their way up and eat everything that's in there. So we'll put them in, spread them over, be sure I get them all in. And that lot. There's eggs in there as well. Every 10 days or 2 weeks, I check them all for moisture content. I just lift the lid. If I can see a worm, exactly the same with bins up the top, pull the carpet back. If I can see a worm, I know them okay. If I can't see a worm, I check it for moisture, then give it a soaking if it needs it. So this is only 10, 11 days old. Lift that bit of carpet up and have a nose. And that is what I want to see. Worms and these worm eggs. Look at them. Look at that stuff. Yeah, I could swim in it. Beautiful. And this is after 10 days. Worms them in there. It's still nice and moist, so they're going to stay there and do the job. I should say this will need a watering a couple of days time. But that's after 10 days. Bostin stuff. Lid back on, look after the little chaps, tuck them in. Me babbies. Right, this one has been just over a month. Say a month and a week. We'll have a nose. You can see how much it's dropped down as it breaks down. So we take our little lid off there. Look at that, beautiful. Obviously there's still bits in there that can break down, eggshells, bits of leaves or whatever. But to use that as a top dressing or to fill a raised bed up, it's beautiful stuff. You ain't going to get no better. The past 20 odd years, that's all I've been using this for, is to fill raised beds. Okay, we mentioned the white bins because it's summer. and the white reflects the heat and the light, so the worms will stay in there nice and cool. Also winter, I carpet everything. Just because this is empty, I've put this on, otherwise they'd cook in there in this weather. But last year we've had minus 14 or whatever, so end of this year, we carpet over the top as well, exactly the same as around there. You want to keep that nice in there for the worms. Right, since I've had them black bins for my green compost and whatever, and my leaf mould, all I use these for now is for my osmuck. This one I filled up yesterday. Had my mate to come down. Luckily he uses chopped sterilised straw for his osses, so it's ideal for me. And that had a good soaking yesterday when that was delivered, but we'll zoom up on that in a bit. This is my old muck heap, which we'll have a look at now and all. Bit of carpet as a top, keeping the moisture and the warmth in there. Exactly the same with these, with my bins. Every 10 days, 2 weeks, I check for a moisture content. If it needs watering, which in a week's time that'll have another good soaking, so it runs straight through. This is a delivery I had yesterday. One good load in here. When we put it in, I jumped up and down on it like a man possessed. I want to get as much in there as I can. Now, last night this was up here, this was packed solid, and just in 24 hours, that's how much it's dropped. It had a good soaking, and I know it had a good soaking because I was watering it for about a quarter of an hour. And this will get checked every 10 days, 2 weeks. Keep your lid on, keep the moisture in and the warmth. Right, that will be ready within 3 months, same as this. Exactly the same with this. The carpet's lifted up, it's checked for moisture. Look at that, beautiful stuff. Once I empty this out, don't forget I'm using this as one of my mixtures, or if I'm growing celery, leeks or onions in one of the beds, then that'll get top dressed with this. The compost I'll use on something else. But as soon as this bed's empty, they're not on the floor, so nick all the worms before they clear off and throw them onto that one. Carpet goes back on the floor, then I'll just use it as a little storage area until I'm ready again for another layer of osmuck. But look after it, it'll look after you. Okay then, just a quick recap. Starting off, the smaller you get the gear, the smaller you can mix it up. So we chop the green waste, the kitchen waste up, mix it with everything else, the other ingredients we got, the end product, we come out like that.